The only 3 tips you need for a successful Disney cruise. This first one is really important and it's kind of new, and that's their know before you go section. They update it constantly, so check it as soon as you've booked your cruise, maybe even before, so you know what requirements are needed, and keep checking it. So anytime you're looking into cruise stuff, make sure you check the know before you go section. Part of what it includes is what is required for boarding. You can find out what their current mask policies are, a couple of other things that are way more important, vaccines and tests. And just a tip, I'm not sure how I was missing this, but I actually have to put into my search engine that I want their know before you go section because I wasn't finding it. They're going to have sections in there depending on where you are cruising to because different ports have different rules. Currently, Disney Cruise Line continues to require all vaccine eligible guests based on U.S. eligibility requirements to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 as defined by the CDC at the time of sailing. This is a requirement for all guests, U.S. and international, ages 5 and older. Guests who are not vaccine eligible because of age must provide proof of a negative COVID test result taken between 3 days and 24 hours before their sail date. What I thought was really interesting is they've got some new checklists in here. If you go all the way down to the bottom, there's a pre-cruise checklist before leaving home, embarkation day on the ship, ports of call, and debarkation day. Really useful. I'm not going to go over all those details, but that's where you find it. Definitely make sure you've got the appropriate vaccination documentation or testing documentation. You're going to need to download the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app. You'll be able to do practically everything from there. You can upload your verification documentation. It's going to have all of your activities once you're on the ship. And going right into number 2, another thing that you can do with this Disney Cruise Line Navigator app is your online check-in. And you do have to make sure you complete your online check-in at least 1 day prior to the date you sail. In the past, online check-in was available about 3 months before sail date. The exact numbers depended on which Castaway club level you are, but recently, since COVID, online check-in is 30 days prior to sail date. There's a couple of reasons that online check-in is so important. If you're just going to do the very basic planning for your cruise and you don't want to schedule anything in advance, you still need this online check-in for documentation verification and for selecting your port arrival time. Your port arrival time is not flexible. It is a 15-minute window and you must arrive within that 15 minutes. It's very specific so they can get everybody tested and boarding in a consistent and smooth manner. If you are doing the minimal planning, all you're going to need is that port arrival time and your verification documents. And it's also important to know if you have tiny humans, the nursery is not currently open. Once that opens again, if it is done as in the past, you will need to make reservations online on your online check-in, and it's also important to note that they do charge. I'm sure it's going to open it up again someday. It's Disney after all, but it is not available now. And a side note, if you have a tiny human that is potty trained and is ages 3 years or up, they can go to the Oceaneer Club, which is for ages 3 to 12. There are quite a few things that you're going to schedule during your online check-in. I go straight to the port arrival time as fast as I can because I want the earliest one we can get, and then I go back and fill in everything. Recently, you do need your verification documents uploaded before you can get to that port arrival time, so just have everything prepared. And if you're wanting to reserve things, make sure you get online or on your Navigator app at midnight Eastern Standard Time. I typically will go ahead and log in, whatever it is, so that I'm just ready. Have all your pictures and required document copies ready to upload. Then you can secure your port arrival time, and you're going to want to reserve things that you'd like to do. Some of the ones we really love are liquor tastings, Palo, and Remy. Liquor tastings range in price from approximately $27 to $45. They've got about $13 to $15. There's a couple of more on the Dream class ships than there are on the Magic class ships. We absolutely love chocolate and liquor. And another really fun one is mixology. You'll get about 4 to 5 drinks or taste depending on which class you take. With mixology, you do typically get 3 to 4 small drinks plus a shot, so you might be a little tipsy when you come out of that one, but it's a lot of fun. They used to let you make your own drink sometimes up at the bar. With mixology, I'm pretty sure that's probably not happening now, but it's still fun either way. It's kind of hard not to have fun when you have that many drinks in 1 hour, actually. Palo is their northern Neapolitan Italian specialty restaurant. It has brunch and dinner. Brunch used to have a big buffet plus a menu that you could order from. Recently, they've just been doing the menu and plates of assortments that they bring to your table, such as meats and cheeses, seafood, caviar, etc. You want to book these reservations when you do your online check-in. You are allowed one dinner and one brunch per cruise. If you do not have any sea days on your cruise, you might not have Apollo brunch. They are typically on sea days only. And here's a pro tip for you. If you want a second Apollo dinner, I haven't tried this yet, but I have heard that if you go up to Apollo on the first day when you arrive, you can get a second dinner reservation for Apollo if you're willing to dine there that first night. Remy's champagne brunch, dessert experience, and dinner should also all be available to book when you do your online check-in. Remy is their most luxurious dinner experience on board, serving French fare. It's only on the Dream and the Fantasy. It is adult only, 18 and up, and they do have a very strict dress code, so make sure you check into that as well. They also have a first night option. It's called Petites, I'm going to say it wrong. It's called Petites Assises de Remy. Yeah. Anyway, embark on a tour of Remy and a 6-course wine tasting paired with small plates of gourmet cuisine. We did not try this, but I think it would be really good, so I do want to try it next time we go. Also, it's important to note that these dining events are offered during cruises of 4 nights or longer. Some fun for your tiny humans on board would be character breakfasts, princess gatherings, and the royal tea. Tickets are required. The character breakfast and the princess gathering are both included with the cost of the cruise. You just need to reserve your spot, so make sure you do that when you're doing your online check-in. The character breakfast is only available on cruises 7 nights or longer, and the princess gathering is typically held in the atrium. They will have 4 princesses available, and you will make one line, and then you get to go see all 4 of them. My understanding is that these are back now, and you can go and meet the princesses. Make sure you check that know before you go section, just in case something changes. The royal tea is completely different. There is a charge for that, and obviously you need to reserve your space for that. Bestow the little princess or prince in your life, ages 3 to 12, with a tea party starring Disney characters. This is a specially priced experience, available for an additional fee. Tiny humans are $220 and adults are $69. One last thing you'll want to do on your online check-in is make sure you schedule your excursions. Excursions have been having some limitations whether or not you're allowed on land depending on vaccination and age. Make sure you verify what those are for the ports you are planning on visiting, or for the cruise you plan on taking. And you can check in with your travel agent or Disney Cruise to find that out, and I'm sure it's also the know before you go section. Number 3 is extremely important as well. Make sure you arrive early. Make sure, schedule a room a night before your cruise leaves. If you're within 2 hours of the port maybe, okay, you can drive down that morning, but I would not chance it. You never know when a road might be closed because of a wreck or whatever, and everyone's trying to do workarounds. You don't want to be late for your Disney cruise. You don't want that kind of stress added to the Disney cruise or added to your travel, or your flight gets canceled. That wouldn't be good either. So just make sure you're there a day before you leave. Also, on the flip side, make sure you leave yourself some room for your return flight home. Typically, Disney Cruise Line wants everybody off the ship by 9 a.m., but if you get stopped by fog in Galveston, your cruise is going to be late. And of course, that's no issue. Nobody minds a little more time on the ship, unless you have an early flight you're trying to rush for already. So just give yourself some time. Sometimes you can get a day room at the hotel at the airport so that you can play in the pool, etc. Just give yourself that time. And here's the absolute most important piece of all. Let go of your plans and enjoy the moments. It is so easy, especially with Disney, to get caught up in all the plans, the schedules, the reservations. But this is your vacation. This is the trip you've been planning for, waiting for. I have done it so many times where I forget to just sit and soak it in. So make sure you do that. Put a reminder on your phone if you need to. Put a string around your finger. Just make sure you enjoy the cruise. Enjoy those special moments. That's really the value of a Disney cruise and the crew, but those special moments with family, and they're just different on a cruise than they are in the parks. So just make sure and take some time and really soak it in. I did that on my last cruise. I just took 20 minutes on the very last night of Funnel Vision, and I remember it so well. I remember a lot of things that happened on the cruise, but that one just really stuck in there. So next time when I have family on board, I'm going to make sure and just soak those moments in. You also actually need to know about tipping and gratuities for Disney Cruise Line. Apparently theirs is a little different than any other cruise line, so go check this one out. Do I really need to tip on Disney Cruise Line? Spoiler alert, yes you do. So make sure you go check that out as well. Let us know in the comments below, what's your favorite tip for a successful Disney cruise? You know what to do. If you're not subscribed yet, click on that little circle so that you are. Ring that little bell. It'll let you know when we have any new videos, and we'll see you real soon with some more DisNEEDS.